Howdy guys, Mac, Double Tap. It's been a while. I've been busy. Had a lot of stuff going on. Sitting out here on the second Sunday of rifle season in Oklahoma, looking across the beautiful stretch of land. Decided to pull the camera out and make a little video because I probably just screwed up my deer hunting for the night shooting a coyote. Coyotes take precedence. But had a lot on my mind lately. Been doing a lot of thinking, doing a lot of reading, and got a question that I asked myself recently. Has the recent events with things like George Zimmerman and Darren Wilson, has that made you doubt or second guess, or will you think about somebody's skin color before you defend your life against them? Before you guys go down some path where I don't want to hear it. This isn't a racist thing. This is the reality of the world we live in right now. In George Zimmerman's case, he was attacked by a kid, and he got put in a position, and none of us were there. I don't care which side you're arguing for, whether it was Zimmerman's side or Martin's side. I don't care which side you're on. You weren't there. Neither was I. All we can do is look at the testimony from the people that were there. In this case, George Zimmerman's the only one that survived it. He convinced a jury of his peers that he was in fear for his life, and he took his gun out and defended his life. And whether or not he's a douchebag, a dirtbag, or what he's done before or since is irrelevant to what happened at that moment. And then the media, which in my opinion is a huge part of the problem in this country. The media, they edited 911 tape and turned the whole world against him because they said he was a racist. Now we move forward a couple of months in time, however long it's been. And you have Darren Wilson and Michael Brown. First thing I'd like to ask you fucking retards in Ferguson, Missouri, that are burning that city to the ground and inflicting pain on people that have nothing to do with it. Let me ask you assholes a question, because we all know it's not about Michael Brown. We all know it's not about don't shoot, hands up. We all know it's not about that. Here's what it's about. And let me ask you a question. How many 42-inch LCD TVs must someone steal to be properly compensated for the death of somebody you didn't know? How many pairs of Air Jordans or whatever the hell shoes you're stealing must you take before you are properly compensated for the death of somebody that you've never met? How many buildings do you got to burn down? You guys are just lucky I'm not the chief law enforcement official of that area. That's all I'm going to say. But if you haven't taken the time to read all the grand jury material, and for those of you who don't know what a grand jury is, let me explain. Because I think a lot of people, and the media is making such a big deal out of this grand jury. A grand jury is there for one reason. They take the evidence and they see if there is enough evidence to see if there is probable cause to move forward with an indictment, in this case for murder, down to manslaughter. And after reading the testimony and after them hearing the testimony, they decided, and I agree, whether or not there's some gray areas where he coulda, shoulda, woulda, he made a split-second decision. And the fact is, it was self-defense. Brown was not standing there with his hands up. He was the aggressor in the situation. He leaned into the police car, attacked the officer, tried to take his gun. Now, I'm not a cop anymore, and I don't have a lot of respect for a lot of cops anymore. Most of them are on egotistical power trips. But I will tell you this. I don't want to say most of them. That wasn't a fair statement. A lot of them. But I will tell you this. If you try to take a cop's gun, you have just bought a ticket. And when you buy the ticket, boys and girls, you go for the whole fucking ride. You don't get to call stop, because you've already showed intent. But if you take the time to read the testimony, and I have, from the witnesses, not even Darren Wilson, every time Brown turned around to run away, all Wilson did was yell, stop, freeze, don't go. When he turned back around and aggressed him was when the officer started firing. Now, the fact that he didn't have a weapon, that's a gray area. Do I agree with the entire shooting the way it is? No, I don't. But I was not standing in that man's shoes. I don't know whatever level of fear he was feeling at that moment in time. And neither do you. But what I can tell you is when the retard squad showed up, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Eric Holder, our lustiest retarded fucking president, Barack Obama, show up and start screaming their racial hatred bullshit. If you're black and you're watching this video and you've got this far, let me tell you something. Nobody gives a shit about your skin color but you. Now, I won't tell you there aren't some racist redneck, skinhead, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Brotherhood, whatever, out there that hate you because of your skin color. But most of the population doesn't care. You're just another person. So, I'm tired of being called a racist just because my skin color is white. The card has been played to the point where nobody gives a shit anymore. It's like saying the sky's blue. Nobody cares. Everybody's heard it so many times. And I'm not going to get into the whole ethnic, racial, super discussion here. Not even interested in it down on the post. Don't put them down there. I'll delete them. But the whole purpose of me pulling this camera out was that question I asked in the beginning. Has the events and what the media does with the events made you, are you going to stop? Are you going to think? Are you going to hesitate at the moment of truth to shoot somebody that's trying to kill you simply because they have a different skin color than you do? And this kind of another video I did that says I just killed somebody, now what? I'll put a link to it in case you've never seen it. But in that video I said, you know, after a shoot and you've taken out a gun, pulled the trigger, and taken another human being's life, you need to, that was pretty, I don't know if I hit the camera or not, hawked this sword right up over my head, kind of paused in the wind. Beautiful country. But after you have taken your gun out and you've defended your life, the first thing you need to do is keep your mouth shut. You don't make a statement to anybody. And if this doesn't, the current events don't stamp an exclamation point on that, nothing will to you. But it also goes back to everything I said in that video. You need to train. You need to do more with a firearm other than carry it. It is not a talisman. It will not protect you from evil spirits without being used. But you also better damn well be sure you're right. Taking another human life is the most serious thing that you can ever be put in front of you. you better be sure. But if you are sure, I implore you, don't let somebody's skin color be a determining factor of whether you live or die, or someone you love lives or dies. Our country is lost. This isn't where I was raised. I don't know what we've become. I don't understand how we got here. There's an old adage that if you put a frog in a pan of water and bring it to a boil slowly, it'll sit there and cook. But if you take that frog and throw it in a pan of boiling water, it'll jump right back out. We have definitely been brought to a boil at a nice slow pace over the last 40 or 50 years. I'm afraid for my kids, I'm afraid for my grandkids of where this country's going. Doesn't matter who's in charge, Democrat or Republican, they all suck. Deciding which politician you want to vote for is a lot like trying to pick the next venereal disease you want. It's all crooked, it's all corrupt. There's always somebody in the wings paying off somebody else. And while we are fascinated by shiny things, this country's falling apart. I just wanted to get you guys thinking, because it's something you need to work out in your head before you get there. Are you willing? Will you hesitate in a time of life situation because of that person's skin color? You need to think about it. You need to come to terms with it. You need to make that decision right now, very soon. And if you think you will, even for a split second, hesitate, it might be time to take the guns off. Because there's always one gun. If you carry a gun, there's always one gun at every fight. Yours. Like I said, I don't know that I agree with where the whole Darren Wilson thing led. I don't know if I agree with how he got to the position he was and the shots he fired and all that. I don't know that I agree with it, but I don't know because I wasn't there. But what it isn't justification to is to burn a city to the ground. In the world stage, they're laughing at us. Well, as I see out of the corner of my eye, it looks like the coyote didn't screw up my deer hunting. I guess I'm going to have to sign off and get me some backstrap. Thanks for watching, guys, and think about it.